Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, Chapter 99. When we last left our heroes, everything finally started to go Team Eden Zero. As Rebecca remembered that Happy could turn into a gun, allowing her to free both herself and Homura from the tentacles, destroying them. The Starshines very easily destroyed the satellite. They did have to tap into their own ether for it, but we'll see if there are any long-term consequences of that later. And Shiki, in his overdrive state, was able to destroy Draken. It was honestly a really rushed chapter, really fast chapter. But yeah, it looks to be that this is kind of the end of the Draken saga. So yeah, let's see where we go to next. Chapter 99, The Pendant. And our picture here is Shiki in like swim trunks, surfing the waves with a bunch of fish in the air, and Moskwa is also there. And some kind of letter in a bottle, it looks like. I don't know. Anyway, we open with Shiki having just destroyed Draken's weird cat body thing, and Draken's regular form is like lying amidst the rubble. And Shiki glares at him for a moment before he falls out of ether gear, out of overdrive, and falls to his knee. And Wise looks up, and we see Draken very quickly age into the old man he truly is. As Wise and Shiki just look at him, as Draken starts to shake, I think in like terror at his coming death. And Wise gets up holding a pistol that I don't know if he had that the whole time or if he just made that with Machina Maker. But then he, stands over Draken's body with the gun, and like stares down at him. And Shiki calls out to him, "Wise, he's the guy who killed my mom, and not just her. So many others died because of him." But Draken is aging even more now. We see like his face is becoming like emaciated, and Shiki and Wise stares down at him for another moment before Shiki says, "But he can't move. It's over." Either way, Wise still like cocks the pistol or whatever the term for doing this thing is. I don't know. I don't know enough about guns. Anyway, and then he says to Shiki, "Could you be friends with a guy who took the life of someone you love?" "Probably not right away." "So you're saying you could someday?" "It might take time. But even so, if somebody reaches out, I think it's possible to be friends with anybody." Shiki, I don't think you really want to be saying that. That's a bridge too far, bro. Like, what good are friends if you don't hate the people who kill them? Like, that's a certain point. There's some bridges you can't cross, I think. "Well, he's not reaching out. No, even if he did, I couldn't do it." And then, just to make some on the nose symbolism there, Draken like raises his hand, shaking, and Wise looks down at him in shock, and we just see the two of them stare at each other. As Draken still says, "Life, give me your life, you slimy piece of Wise," and it looks like Wise shoots, but he shoots right to the side of Draken's head. And the two of them just kind of look on what's just happened. Why can't I kill him?" He tosses the gun away. "Damn it!" And Sabir walked up to them. "Because you know how precious life really is." "Huh?" And Wise looks and sees him. "Sabir." And he turns away. Right as Pino and Moscow show up. "Master! Moskoy! Pino, Moscow!" And Amira now walks up to Draken. "You actually took down the biggest bad in the Sakura Cosmos. Like, whoa, kind of a big deal." Now in walks Rebecca and Homura. "Guys! Rebecca, Homura, Happy!" And Wise looks off at them. And then Homura notices Amira, who I guess she has not actually met yet. "What? Hi there." And Homura like snaps at Amira. "I'm Shiki's friend, Amira. It's like totally nice to meet you." "Why are you lying like that, Amira? You already told them who you were. You already told Team Shiki that like you were the fake Homura back in Digitalis." And Rebecca looks around, recognizing this place is where Shiki died last time. "This is where..." Then she stops. "I'm so glad everyone's okay." And Shiki smiles at her. You too, Rebecca. And then he has the image of World 29 Rebecca, just like crying as she processes Shiki's death. And Shiki stops for a second and then breaks down. What's wrong, Shiki? I'll never make my friends cry again. Ever. Did he say that in this timeline, or was that only in 29? And Wise kind of like looks at him silently. Pino smiles. We know. And Mosco's also crying. But what do we do when you start crying? And Sabir smiles. No kidding. And Homer is still kind of mad at Amira. You. Now. And then Rebecca just smiles before saying, we did it. We won. Now we cut to the outside of the Belial Gore, as the Eden Zero, is now outside the Belial Gore. It looks like I'm kind of right about when Belial... Like, a long time ago, I said Belial Gore, I predicted would end in chapter 100. And I can kind of see this chapter and the next chapter just kind of being a wrap-up thing. Starting the next part of the series in chapter 101. But we'll have to see about that later, because we're now back... The whole crew's back on the ship, or at the very least, Pino is. So I'm assuming everyone else is. And Hermit turns to Pino. So, what happened to Draken? The organization that Miss Amira came from. They took him into custody. The Interstellar Union Army. This is a sister. I can't believe she was with the government. And Moscow asks, what will happen to the Belial Gore? And Witch turns to him. I believe they'll conduct an investigation, but at this point, the ship has become a sort of space colony. It is likely the residents' lifestyles will be preserved. Now we go into Wise's room. Interestingly enough, spelled wise as in, like, the adjective. W-I-S-E. But anyway, you look around his room. He is a very, very horny man. With all of the, pictures of butts and boobs you could possibly wish for in the world. Along with, it's just kind of like a mess of a room. Like, the guy needs to pick up after himself. And then Wise thinks back to something Sabir said. An investigation? Are you kidding? Oh man, everyone here has skeletons in their closets. And it's like sometime after the battle, Wise is at Sabir's bar is what's going on. Then Amira chick said she'd handle it. That's awfully thoughtful of her, but not surprising. She was only here for an undercover investigation. She captured the biggest bad in the Sakura cosmos. Considering what this will do for her career, of course she's in a giving mood. Oh yeah, I better give this back to you. And Sabir looks in his pocket for something, and it's the pendant. So you did steal it. No, you gave it to me. Huh? Okay. And Sabir, Wise looks at him shocked. After DJ Zombie cut your arm off, I found the guy who took the necklace. It was one of the young kids in the gang. Oh, so that's where Sabir and Wise's relationship started mending. And that's another reason, other than just, how minor an issue it was for Sabir, like I brought up several chapters ago. That's another reason why Alpha Sabir is on such good terms with Wise. Alright, anyway. I found the guy who took the necklace. It was one of the young kids in the gang. I wanted to give it back to you, but you wouldn't take it. And Wise looks at him confused. Told me it's a reminder of when you didn't trust your friend. We see back in 442, I want you to keep it until the day when I can finally forgive myself. And I think that's present day Sabir. I just kind of laughs, trying to be so cool. And what happened after that, huh? Went to school, made something of yourself, and stopped hanging out with riffraff like us. You must have found something that meant more to you than that keepsake from your mother. You left the planet, and it was like you'd forgotten all about the pendant. Honestly, it was lonely without you. And Sabir puts down a glass for Wise. But I was jealous of your new life, and I'm proud that I could call you my friend. And Wise looks at him, and then Sabir changes the topic. Now, no pressure for you to make something of yourself, but you've been blessed with some good friends. Back in the present, Wise looks up at the pendant. And Labilia is just gushing over the Eden Zero, because apparently she's on board now, with Homura. This is an amazing ship. I had no idea my dear Rebecca lived in such a nice place. Oh, whatever is this room for? And Homura tells her, we cannot have you wandering about willy-nilly. I hope I'm not bothering anyone. And she opens the door to find Chris and Clean. And Chris, like, glares at her. And Lobelia, as you may recall, Chris did kind of kidnap her and sell her to a sex trader, is understandably freaked out. What is he doing here? You did trick me. Can she not be quiet? I think we're kind of selling Lobelia a little short there. Just because, he did try to sell her into sex slavery, and we're just kind of not talking about it. Yeah, anyway. So now we're in the observatory, with Happy. We all work together. It really is like we won with the power of our teamwork. It's Happy, Pino, Shiki, and Rebecca. And Pino replies, "The four shining stars played a big part too." And Shiki laughs, "I felt it too. My ether power just kind of exploded, like blah." Rebecca looks at them. "You say we all played a part, but now that you mention it, what did Connor do? I'm amazed that he didn't turn up during any of this." "Oh yeah, whatever happened to Mr. Connor?" But Happy and Pino look at him confused. "I'm sorry, who is Mr. Connor?" "Dunno." "What? That's rude. You remember, that guy who was all, 'Call me Captain if you please,' looked like this, too." And we see an image of Mr. Connor. And Shiki turns to Rebecca. "I don't know who you're talking about." "What?" And, that's the end of the chapter. Alright, so the obvious thing here is Connor somehow not being a part of World 30, or not having come to the Eden Zero in World 30. How exactly that works, because to me it seemed that the point of convergence between Worlds 29 and 30 was after Connor joined the crew at Sun Jewel. So I don't really know what's going on there. But that's the most likely story, that somehow something was different between 29 and 30, and that's why Connor never met them. But yeah, I did already look up that the next chapter is titled Eden's One, which is of course a reference to Mr. Connor's ship, and I imagine will offer a lot more answers, or at least help to clear the field with all of that. Once we get to chapter 100, which I also, knowing Mashima, reckon will be a longer chapter, just because it's chapter 100. All that before we get to whatever is out, getting past the edge of the Sakura Cosmos, and of course then dealing with the other five members of the Arasan Seis Galactica. Anyway, this chapter is really just denouement to the end of the Draken saga. We see, it almost looks like Draken is going to get some kind of redemption. And I'm kind of curious what the point of the tragic backstory was, if it didn't really amount to much. It's just kind of, we have this backstory, and then Shiki kind of rejects it, which at least, you could say it's a commentary on the whole, give a villain a tragic backstory right before they die, as if that makes them better. Kind of like what Ghoul always did. But I don't know. Draken, to his captured breaths, never tried for redemption at all. To his final moments, he's just trying to get life. I will say, though, the fact that he has been captured and not killed, to me implies that he could get out again. I don't know how he would, because he is, an old-ass man now. Though we also don't know anything about the relationship between Draken and the other Arasions. So maybe they're, not to the same extent as, say, Fairy Tail's Arasions, where they were, a guild, and they were, especially the non-brain members, were there for each other, they stayed together when they joined Crime Sorcière, all of that good shit. So I don't think they're that close, because they're not together. But they might still be allies? We don't really know. We just don't really know what exactly is up with the Arasion Seis. And so until then, we don't exactly know how out of the story Draken is. So I imagine he's pretty far gone. The very least, it'll be a very long time until we see Draken again. Anyway, then we find out about what actually happened with the pendant, the end of the story that Hourwise doesn't know because he never lived through that part. And we see that it's a memento of how Wise hated himself for not trusting Sabir. Um, and yeah, it kind of resolves that. We might see Sabir again. I'm not really counting on it. I'm a little bit curious though, what role Lobelia is going to play now. Like she's on the Eden Zero. I don't think she's gonna stay on the Eden Zero. But also, if we're leaving the Sakura Cosmos, and only a few select people can leave the Sakura Cosmos, what does that mean for Lobelia's continued role in this story? We'll have to see. Maybe she does end up coming along with them. Um, I don't know. I don't know. And then, of course, we have the final scene with Shiki, and no one besides Rebecca remembers Connor, which I imagine is going to be the central focus of chapter 100. But until then, we'll have to just wait and see. So that's all I have to say for this chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. Do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!